And today we're going to talk about carb cycling. It's a modern protocol and obviously it's getting a lot of attention in these days. So what exactly is carb cycling? It's one of those new idea of type of eating or diets such as paleo diet, intermittent fasting, carb backloading and so on. So basically consists on having the shift of carbohydrates, one day to high carbohydrates, one day to low carbohydrates, and one day almost no or very little carbohydrates. And it's really like two ways that it can be done, and it could be kind of like for controlling body composition and for having better body composition. So calorie balance, it should really still be negative, and then you can just do eating carbohydrates in one day and then another day you're not eating it. Or you can do, when you want to build muscle, what do? It's you just put a extra intake calories, so you're eating a lot more on the days that you work out, or sometimes at times that you don't work out, depending on what type of muscle building you're trying to do. So understanding the principle and guideline of carb cycling and how the protocol is working and why. So the protocol is based on the idea that carbohydrates give you an insulin boost. So it could also, again, it could be for the better, such as when you need to stock glycogen and thus getting more muscle, or utilize this kind of insulin imbalance or just this effect that putting or not putting a carbohydrate in specific day will give you in order to lose weight or lose fat, in the case that obviously you have a lower caloric imbalance. But let's see how we can apply it. So such as ketogenic diets, carb cycling works in the fact that obviously the insulin, so again hormones, is what this diet focused on, and the idea that you get better composition more than traditional dieting. And how it came about, carb cycling came along and it was sold as a ultimate method to rapid fat loss while building muscle. Again, here we have counter opponents ideas, because really we cannot do anabolism and catabolism, or better, we cannot lose fat and building muscle at the same time when we are not utilizing drug enhancements. But again, I mean, in a way, let's say that you have like a good body composition, good body mass under your fat. The fact that you will get a lower energy balance, so lower caloric intake, less than you need, and then preserve as much muscle you can, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll make you seem, or like you'll think that you're actually getting muscle, while in reality you had this muscle all along and you're just burning the fat around it. What is carb cycling and how the protocol is simplified? Throughout the week, you should rotate high carb days, moderate carb days, and low or no carb days, as said before. It does all that we require with the intake, protein intake, and as we know, 0.7 to 1.5 or 0.7 to 1.2 for regular people, sedentary. For athlete, 1.2 to 1.8, and for endurance athlete, can get to 1.6, 1.7 until maybe 2. Your fat intake is inversely related to the carbohydrates. So basically, what it rotates, what is shifting, the protein stays the same, and the carbohydrates goes up and down in relation to the fat. And again, here it's interesting to understand that, let's say that you want to lose weight and you are on a 2000 calorie diet, and let's say that you have a high carbohydrates day, and so thus low fat day, high carb day, and protein stay the same. When you want to lose weight and you want to go on a 1500 calorie diet, again, this particular macro split should not be the same, because if you keep if you go proportional and you beginning with taking almost 2 gram per kilogram of protein when you're on a 2000 calorie diet, and then you go to a 1500 calorie diet, you end up going from 2 gram per pound or per kilogram to a 1.2 grams. So basically, you're also losing a lot of muscle, which really you don't want to do. If you, whatever body composition you want to get, if you want to lose weight or lose fat and look better, or gain muscle specifically, you don't want to sacrifice the protein on that. How does it work? There is a few ways, again, we can do it. One has said it's really working on the fact that your body need to get accustomed to working out with a really low carbohydrates intake, so also low caloric intake, and then you reload, you do a medium or high day either while you're working out, and then or if you want to get better body composition, you would probably do workout with no carbohydrates before, and then put the carbohydrates after the workout, and then scaling down through the night, and then maybe the day after you would go even lower, or a medium day, depending what kind of protocol you're utilizing, how you're working out as well, and it depends how really you want to look. When you want to look, put on muscle, again, there is a bunch of protocols you can do, but definitely we need a higher calorie intake. And again, it would be maybe interesting to keep like a normal calorie diet or same as your metabolism when you work out, and then the day after even go higher calorie and high carbohydrates to maximize the stockage of the glycogen, and also the protein synthesis. Again, for some other people, they like better to reload when they work out and then go low after. I mean, again, depends. There is no really magical equation. For more people will work better. And here on this particular slide, it says on days that you have high activity, you put high carbohydrates. On days you have no moderate activity, you put less carbohydrates. It works both ways. We have people that even stay in medium or low carbohydrates when you work out, and then on the day of rest, which really is the day that the body's gonna build on your muscle, then they go high with carb, because we know that keeping protein moderate, high carb and low fat will maximize the protein synthesis here. Here is something that you can see, typical breakdown. Monday, for example, heavy weights training, high carb, interval training, moderate carb, the rest day low carb or no carb, heavy day again high carb, interval training low, and so on. And again, I mean, you can switch it up a little bit as you want. The idea that you're gonna have low, moderate, and high carbohydrates will already give your body a different boost. You might just really need to look at your specific situation. This is just an idea. This is a new protocol, and it works for most people. But again, we need to look at so many other things in addition to that. Let's say, okay, in high carbohydrates makes you feel good, replenish your glycogen stores, and fuel the muscle, stimulate the insulin response, and create the anabolic environment for muscle retention and growth. So as we said, it creates all these chemical processes and metabolic processes, and that you will gain with cellular damage that you do when you work out by having the high carbohydrates diet, or at least like when you have those days, that's physiologically and chemically what happened. When you have no or low carbohydrates, you definitely improve at the cellular level the insulin sensitivity, making your body respond better to future carbohydrates intake. It promotes fat loss to your body and burn fat as fuel. improve fat oxidation via insulin, reduce insulin level. And again, here we're talking about, let's pretend that, or let's make sure that those days that you want to go low in carbohydrates, either you're doing the whole cycling low calorie, which means let's say that you need for your metabolism, total metabolism, daily needs, you will need 2500 calorie, and then you go throughout the whole cycle 2000 calorie every day, and then those days you do high carb, medium carb, lower carb. So basically you're doing the macro split, you're just changing the split. One day when it's high, you do high carb, high protein, low fat, and when it's low, you're doing high fat, high protein, low carb. And staying under those calories, it will make sure that you promote fat loss. If not, same amount of calorie, then your metabolism, it will not make a difference. We have study that shows that those kind of diet, ketogenics, carb cycling, any kind of diet, if it's like you have a higher balance, energy balance that you need, you're still gonna get fat, you're not gonna lose weight. And again, if it's true that hormones make a difference on your composition, it is also true that hormones are better, or better, they give like a different stimulus based on calories. So either you stay 100 calorie for fat loss, either you stay the whole time under calorie, or at least those days they are low. In addition to changing the carbohydrates, you also change the amount of calorie. Improves obviously by reducing the whole, it says it improves fat burning by reducing the overall daily calories. So it looks like in this particular webinar, the idea was to at least get the calorie lower those days. And here we have an example. A high calorie diet can be a high carb diet. They can be eggs, coconut oil, porridge, honey, and with protein powder. And then we have burgers with 3 rice cake and a banana, small baked potato with tuna salad, post-workout shake. Then we get rice, milk, and then large. We still have rice on the evening meals as well, and Parma ham, and that. So here we have like a really high day. This looks at this like 250 to 300 grams of carbs a day. Again, we would need to look at the macro. We would need to look at your need. We would need to make a calculation as many carbs you need to eat first. This look like very high carb day, and what the idea is that you have to own the concept and not the diet. The diet has to pretty much follow you, and not you follow the carb diet or high carb or backloading carb, whatever. But for this particular purpose, you want to keep the carbohydrates the 3 hour before and the 3 hour after workout. So if you hit 5 times or like 5 meals, maybe the dinner, evening meal, I would take out the starches, and the before after, maybe not also the rice. You wouldn't put the rice, you put just the banana. And it's true that at least the 3 hour before and 3 hour after workout, you want to use 50% of the calories coming from the carbs on the day. So this is the idea. Simple of a low or very low, in this case very low carbohydrates. We have the scramble spinach protein, green powder. You'll see in the morning you don't have a carbohydrates here. Then you have turkey burger with nuts, and again vegetable fat and protein here. Small sweet potato topped with tuna and cheese. See, this look like more like of a no carbohydrate side. Here maybe it's a day that you don't work out. And I see pretty much the only carbohydrates that you find is inside a little bit of the cheese, inside the nuts a little bit. You can throw in, this look like more like of a almost no carbohydrates if you don't count the starches and you just count the veggies. And if you want, you can improve, you can put some fruit in there, maybe like around the workout or around the walk if you do one. Setting up a carbohydrates diet, again, we need to go, you can go up to 2 to 2.5 grams per pound of body weight on the high days. You set the protein around 1 per body weight, and again 0.7 for any sedentarian people. So again, this is not too low of a protein day, it's actually good. The fat need to be 0 to 0.15 gram per body weight. On the moderate day, you just take down to 1.5 the carbohydrates. You will make the protein a little higher, and you also, I would also make the fat a little higher, 0.2 here. There is debates. You can probably leave the protein the same and play around with the fat a little more, as long as you keep like the calorie under your need. You will still lose weight, and you probably feel better as far as being satiated as well. Setting up again like a low carbohydrates diet, you can go down more. Here it was like moderate, so we have low here, 0.5 carb, increase the protein more, even more, 1.5 is 0.35 fat. And when you have no carbohydrates diet, you can go to down to 30 gram or less per day, coming all from cheeses, nuts, and vegetable, and maybe one fruit. One fruit is typically up to 30 gram of carbs or fructose a day. You can get 1.5 or higher protein, and maybe almost to up to 0.5 to 1 gram per fat. So again, we're playing real, these are really numbers that give you an idea of how the method works. I really suggest after you hear this webinar, if you have more questions, you really go and contact me, because that will pretty much make you understand how it relates to your own particular situation, if you do want to decide to take up to these particular diets. And again, I'm not advocating any diet. I decided to do these webinars to really show you what's around, but it should really be about you and about you following, I mean, the diet following you and not you following the diet. So we really should get those parameters, your body composition, your hydration, your blood lab, your daily life style, and your exercise. And if you have any additional harder information, it makes a big difference as well. And then you get your preferences, according to your lifestyle. Do you don't make a breakfast? You can or you cannot eat? Do you don't like to cook? Are you allergic, not allergic to any food? There is anything that you like, you don't like? Based on that, you hone the concept of what's around, and then you make a calculation of pretty much what you want to do. And then if carb cycling is something that makes you curious, then you can basically go ahead and do it. Cool, so it looks like we're ready to go. The benefit of the diet here is effectively in a calorie deficit. Again, it gives pretty good result when you get to weight loss, when you take off the calories. It can give result without really tracking too many the calories and the macro numbers. You don't need to do any logs, because basically you do a day high, a day low, as long as you figure out what the serving sizes are, and you can hone them, the idea, and you know how to do it. You might be weight your food one time and then not do it anymore, so you really don't need to like lose too much weight on that any time. You lose too much time on weighing stuff. After you know it once, you probably know it. Certain negative aspects. The protocol, again, according to Johnson 2007, compared with any traditional carbohydrate diets, any traditional dieting approach, carb cycling doesn't have any significant weight loss between groups. Insulin sensitivity was improved in both groups, and hunger, energy, and cravings relating to both group went up and went down. So you find pretty much a study that is pro and study that is against. And the idea is because study really only methods that only analyze multiple factors and not one. But again, as I was telling you before, as long as you don't get like a lower energy intake, carb cycling was work as well as paleo and other diets. The idea is to see what you want to achieve and then find a way to better relate your own experience to it. So carb cycling can be a easy and nice protocol if you want to see your body composition quick, if you do it in the right way. If you're an advanced person, you're gonna see more on a new beginner in the gym, obviously, than an advanced, because the advanced is very metabolically reactive, so it's gonna give less results to a new person than in a hold or an advanced person, that's for sure. So there is still like a very little existence of evidence for this protocol. This protocol is improved. It started probably with the Di Pasquale metabolic diet, which consisted of only charging or doing a high recharge or high carbohydrates day in the end of the week, and all the rest it was really low days. So again, there is still this idea that some people with a slower metabolic or metabolism might need 2 or 3 days slow and one moderate and one high. Some other people might need one low, one high, one low, one moderate. It depends. Again, it's very personalized. And again, I encourage you to contact me to know more about whatever you want to start. So that's it. Was not to promote any kind of diet or any kind of not telling you exactly what to eat. Anything you see in this particular video is only just for information purposes. I'm not advocating or promoting any kind of particular diet. We are very scientific about diet. We have dietitian working and nutrition working for us. So if you do need any kind of help or you want to know more about it, just contact me.